Hi everyone, welcome to Board of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm stewiejp, you're not, neither is this bloke. This is the Dark Apprentice and he's running around in his KV-1, Tier 5 Russian heavy tank. This is going to be a threesome featuring Tier 5 Russian heavy tank, starting off with the KV-1, ending off with the KV-1, and I think there might be a KV-1S battle in the middle. Sent by 3 different players. This one's Dark Apprentice, who I was been in a couple of clans with this guy, is currently an Empire clan, I believe. And in this game he's on Serene Coast. He's lucky enough to be top tier, and he wants to go out and smash a few of these enemy tanks. Now this is from patch 9.171, and I'm in the process of cleaning up all the old replays before I start getting stuck into some of the 9.18 new patch replays. Now the KV1 is, I haven't had one of these for years, but I do have the KV-220. It's quite similar. It's got a it looks like he's running the derp gun, 450 alpha damage, 61 penetration with the high explosives, 140 penetration for 370 alpha for the heat rounds, which I'm guessing are the premium ammunition. It's been a very long time since I've driven this tank. Not, of course, KV-1, not known for its speed, but it is known for its armour and it's good damage per minute. As he looks at the Stridsvagen M42, the Tier 5 Swedish medium tank, not lucky enough to land a shot there. And even though it's a bit of a derp gun, the reload time's not too bad. As you can see, he's reloaded again already, and this is where he wants to absolutely clean up. Auto aims on the Swedish tank, puts 363 hit points of damage into him, which is about right, so clearly it penetrated. Penetration of 140 is generally enough at Tier 5, especially when you're top tier. Turns off his auto aim, fires clutch and kills the Tier 5 medium tank, brings the score up to 2-1. That's his first kill, and without giving too much away, he's going to have a few more kills in this battle. You can also see that he's doing something that a lot of people recommend for heavy tanks. He's not running a med kit, instead he's running extra combat rations, which gives an extra 10% to all crew skills and perks, including his reload time, his speed, his rate of fire, aim, repair. Of course, in a heavy tank you often lose your tracks in a heavy tank, and of course it'll fix the tracks a little bit quicker. The Matilda picks up the kill on the T-34 as the Dark Apprentice starts aiming in on the Toaster tank. Looks like he's not moving. He one-shots him for 350 hit points and continues his run down the western flank on Sacred Valley. 4 alls to score. He's already picked up 1173 hit points of damage. He's blocked a bit, 690, as he's looking for a cheeky shot into that sideways UE-57, which I'm tipping is a Swedish tank destroyer. And he's managed to get himself into a bit of a pickle. Wait for his gun to reload, fires without seeing it, and he's picked up another kill. That's kill number 3 for the Dark Apprentice as he continues to move forward. Looking at that IKV-103, the Tier 5 Swedish tank destroyer, he wants to pick up a kill on that one, get rid of that big derpy gun out of the game. Looks like he might have a decent shot on him. He's not aiming his way. That shot just goes a little bit low. Of course, Russian accuracy is not all. Russian guns are not known for its accuracy. The IKV pulls out of the way just in time, and looking like the other side of the map is in a hell of a lot of trouble. Three tanks lost in quick succession means even though that the Dark Apprentice has picked up 3 kills, then because the other side's capitulated, his team's in a bit of trouble. The M5 Stewart having an interesting time down the bottom. He looks like he's going to get it pushed on by that Sav M43, the Tier 4 tank destroyer, and the Hetzer. But Dark Apprentice going back towards the cap. He's probably hoping that Matilda comes to help. And at the moment, there's only 2 Tier 5 left. 2 Tier 5 tanks left on the Dark Apprentice's side. 4 on the enemy side. So he's certainly got his work cut out for him if he's going to try and save this game. But first he wants to get rid of one of those Tier 5s. Auto aims at the IKV-103, picks up his 4th kill, 7-9 the score now, 1391 hit points of damage, 690 blocked as the enemy artillery puts a shot towards the Dark Apprentice's big Russian tank. No idea what's happening on back here, just an artillery left back at the base. Looks like the enemy team are going to start to try and cap this one out, or maybe they're just rolling over the cap circle. They'll be trying to kill all as the Dark Apprentice picks up his 5th kill, taking the Stug out of the game. Now, of course, that damage that he's done, 1741, doesn't include, there was 1 or 2 shots where the enemies weren't lit. One of them, notably, the Tier 3 tank destroyer. 9-11 the score now. Looks like the Looks is staying back at the base, trying to maybe get some resets, but the artillery gets taken out, as well as that M5 Stewart, who was last seen on the enemy cap circle. 9-12, 1741 damage, 1040 damage block as the Dark Apprentice looking for his top gun. Gets tracked by the Hetzer. Chooses not to fire. Takes a kill on the Sav M43, and he'll be thinking that with that Sav out, the Hetzer probably can't see him. Or maybe can't see him. No, not really sure what the view range is like. That shot just goes a little bit low. 10-12 the score now. 6 kills and a top gun for the Dark Apprentice. It is KV-1, the Tier 5 Russian heavy tank, and at the moment he's quite content just to duel with this Hetzer. I think he thinks if he can get rid of him, his team might have some chance of winning. Only 1 enemy tank capping. Looks like the KV-1 on the enemy side's going for that Matilda. The Churchill looks like he might be staying on cap, and the Looks trying to do something to the heavily armoured British heavy tank. Of course, that Looks with its little machine gun would probably struggle against the Churchill, but who knows? If he gets his side, he might be able to at least track him and stop that cap timer. Continues to aim towards the Hetzer. No idea if that shot went in. 10-13 the score. He really wants to kill this Hetzer before he goes back to try and stop this cap by the enemy team. It looks like that Looks might be getting some resets because it's just hovering around the minute 10. He aims again towards the Hetzer. Finally he picks up, that's kill number 7, knocking out the Tier 4, I think it is, a Tier 4 German tank destroyer. Still only 1 enemy tank on the cap circle as the Dark Apprentice heads towards the enemy cap, so it looks like he's going to try and win this by capping. He's only got 179 hit points. That's probably not a bad strategy. The Looks doing a fine job keeping resets on that Churchill. No idea how much health the little Tier 4 German light tank is on. The KV-1 hasn't been spotted for some time, and the Looks gets taken out by that Stug. So 3 of the 4 enemy tanks remaining, all last seen near the cap circle. This KV-1 though, who was last spotted in the middle of the map, hasn't been seen for some time, so not sure if he's going to come down and try and put a reset on the Dark Apprentice. Not really sure what he should do now. 30 seconds on the cap circle. Maybe he should have left a little bit earlier to head back for resets, but he clearly cannot cap this one out, so he might as well leave the cap circle and maybe hope that those enemy tanks are going to try and reset him. Looks like one of the enemy tanks have left the cap. Now both have. So Dark Apprentice doing the right thing, staying on the cap now. 45 seconds left on the cap timer. Can he turn this into an epic win? I don't know. No idea where the enemy artillery is. There's the KV-1 that hasn't been spotted for some time. There's the artillery piece. Both one shots for him in this dirt gun. He needs to aim properly. Doesn't need to aim properly as he picks up the kill on the KV-1. The Sexton's going to go for a tracking shot, and he'll be hoping that gun loads in time to pick him off. He does. That's kill number 9 for the Dark Apprentice. It is KV-1 now. It's a 1 versus 2. The Churchill and the Stug. It's a minute and a half before he can cap this out. Now, of course, the Churchill certainly not known for its speed, but he did leave the cap circle maybe a minute ago. How long would it take for a Churchill, even if he goes right down the guts, how long would that take for him to get to the Dark Apprentice in his KV-1? A minute and a half, I suspect, would be enough time. Certainly for the Stug. I think the Stug's a little bit quicker, the Stug 3B. Can't say I'm familiar with that tank, but being a Tier 4 tank destroyer, some of them are reasonably quick. The Dark Apprentice taking a punt that they're going to come from his left, and that's where he's aiming his gun. Of course, if they come from his right, which will be the most direct route, I would say, it's going to take him a while to aim. He's got that derp gun, so it's going to take a little bit of time to aim onto the enemy tanks. 38 seconds left on the cap timer. The Dark Apprentice on 2,271 hit points of damage, 1310 blocked, and a hell of a lot of cap points. And of course, he's only on 8 hit points. So 8 hit points, what can you say? He has blocked a lot though. He's certainly done his job. He only started with 640 hit points and he's blocked 1310. So he's certainly used the armour of the Russian heavy tank to its full advantage. 13 seconds left. And Stug's coming from the place he wanted to see it from. He picks up the kill on the Stug, but unlucky. That Churchill came from that direction, and the Churchill on 611 hit points. He was never going to win that battle against the Churchill unless he had a hell of a lot of good luck. But all in all, not a bad result. Even though it was a defeat, he certainly did his job, and wait till you see the amount of donuts in the results page of this game. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for the Dark Apprentice from Empire Clan, as well as a Bruiser, Duelist and Fire for Effect medal, the Pools medal for getting 10 kills in a random battle, which is no mean feat at all. The High Caliber goes without saying, and of course the Top Gun for picking up 6 kills. As we look at the second page of the post-game battle results, 2,466 hit points of damage for his 10 kills, 905 base experience. If that was a win, that would have been probably around 14 or 1,500, maybe even more. He fired 20 shots, 12 hit, they all penetrated, and that was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, even though it was a loss. Look at all these donuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks did 0 damage, and look, quite a few did not much at all. The other KV-1, 168. I don't really want to name him. Cost him a few credits though. Clearly it was premium ammunition, and of course he had the premium food running in the Russian heavy tank as well. But a bit of a heartbreaker from the Dark Apprentice from Empire Clan, and look, he deserved the win. He clearly deserved the win, but not lucky on that occasion. As we move on to the second battle in this threesome of Tier 5 Russian heavy tanks, this one features Subzero, who's no stranger to this channel and is in the KV-1S. Hands up if you remember when the KV-1S was an overpowered Tier 6 heavy tank. That was some years ago. Of course, it was a Tier 6 tank with sort of almost the armour of a Tier 8 heavy tank. It was amazing. You could bounce shots all day and really carry games in it. Of course, they nerfed it. They dropped it down to Tier 5 and they introduced the KV-85, and that was probably 2, maybe 3 years ago. And anyway, in this game on Windstorm, Subzero from Screw Clans in his KV-1S, he's top tier again, and of course it always amuses me when you see a Tier 5 game with Tier 3s in it. It just seems a pretty big difference, those little Tier 3 tanks, considering that people who have been playing Tier 3 tanks, they might only be on their 3rd or 4th game, whereas people who play Tier 5s might be in a tank that they really enjoy and they've played a hell of a lot of games in. But anyway, you can see a few tanks. Got to an interesting position on Windstorm in the middle of the city. He's lit up a few tanks, or somebody's lit up a number of tanks on the southern flank, and Subzero just content to kick back, work out where all these enemy tanks are, and then work out what part of the map he can push. Nobody really pushing the north, which is unusual considering they do have a few medium tanks. The enemy team do have more medium tanks than the friendly team, but you know, it's Tier 5, so you're always going to be challenged. Oh, he fires towards the VK30-01H, doesn't manage to land it, and he pulls back. Of course, the KV-1S, let's see, I think it might be a similar gun to what we saw the Dark Apprentice in his KV-1. 370 damage for 140 pen for the heat rounds, 450 for 61 pen. So that's telling me it's probably the same gun. In fact, I'd put money on it. Those statistics look very, very similar as Subzero puts a shot into the Panzer 4H. Panzer 4H, the what's that? Tier 5 medium tank. That guy's already picked up a kill, so it'll be a good bit of revenge for Subzero to put a big shell into the side of his medium tank. 1-3 the score. He needs to do something. 1-4 the score now. He's going to have a mouthful of coffee while he looks around and works out what he's going to do. Ooh, that Chinoo's never going to bounce a shot like that. Tanks dying all over the place now. Subzero moving around to try and deflect some shots from the Matilda. Of course, the Matilda doesn't have a very big gun on it. Just 50 odd hit points a shot, and the Subzero picks up his first kill, evens up the score, and sends the Matilda back to the garage, the little Tier 4 medium tank. 5-all is the score. A number of tanks in proximity of Subzero in his KV-1S, so he needs to be wary. There's no artillery to worry about, which is a godsend, and Just needs to make sure he uses his hit points nicely. Doesn't quite aim that shot into the side of the low tier tank destroyer. That would have been a kill as well. 5-7 the score now. Subzero really under the pressure here. He's on 555 hit points. Looks at the VK, is it? It is. Gets a shot into him. The T1 Heavy goes down on the other side of the map. They're still down by one tank, and Subzero wants to do what he can. A bit of side scraping there. Bounces a shot from the VK. Derps him. That's his second kill. 1,561 hit points of damage. Getting shot from all directions. So he takes a bit of evasive action and moves in towards these buildings for a bit of cover. Looking at the mini-map, a good group of tanks up in the north, but that's not where the enemy are. All the enemy are around Subzero. There's HE shells going off all over the place. Buildings exploding. It is absolute mayhem. So he's doing well to keep his hit points. He's on 415 hit points. He's done 1,561 damage, and he really needs to try and trade well with these enemy tanks. The PZ-3-4 trying to get a little bit cheeky towards Subzero. These guys, look at the north. They're just sort of, what are they doing? It looks like they're going back. You think that, oh, who knows what they should do, but there's just too many of them up there. T67 in grave danger of being surrounded on his 200 odd hit points. Takes tracks it the shot from the Stug. That's Stug 3B. I don't know if that's a new tank or a premium tank. There was one in the other game as well. Who knows? 8-9 the score. The T67 gets taken out. And there is that Stug. He picks up his third kill. Somehow evens up the score, 9 apiece. I can't see how the score is still even. These three tanks have been out of the game for so long, and it looks like they're crawling back towards the base. Probably thinking, well, this KV-1S won't be there for much longer, so they're probably thinking they'll kick back at the base and try and defend the base with this fucking climber up here in the corner. Cops another shot from the PZ-3-4. Of course, these medium tanks really outmanoeuvring Subzero in his KV-1S. He is hoping for that PZ-3-4 to poke again. I don't think he's going to, so he's going to start moving. He's using that fountain very well. He needs to stop moving his gun and just take a punt that he's going to poke. 10-9 the score now. The SU-26 picked up a kill on the T67 elsewhere on the map, and that's the shot Subzero is waiting for. Patience paid off. Gets rid of the German Tier 5 medium tank. Good to get rid of another Tier 5 tank. There's 3 Tier 5s on Subzero's side left. 2 on the enemy. The KV-1S and that one of those toaster tank destroyers. He's picking the F7 key for help. 11-9 the score. He's on 2,024 damage. He's blocked a little bit, and he wants to know where that KV-1S and the SAV M43, the last two tanks that were spotted in his vicinity. There's the KV-1S. Oh, he'll be hoping that he pokes around the corner. His 6th sense goes off, and it looks like the KV-1S is going to go for it. That should be it. No, he tracks him. Cops 172 damage from the Tier 5 Russian heavy tank, and he keeps him lined up. He's hoping that that's a weak spot. It is. That's his 5th kill of the game. 12-10. His teammates are still managing to slowly die though. 12-10 the score now. The Crusader on the enemy side last spotted up the top, and that's what these two guys were running from. Also the PZ SFL IVC, the toaster tank, and the T67. He's taken his brave pills. Looks like he's going to cross the river and head to the enemy cap. On full health by the looks of him. He is. He's on 360, but that's not much. There's the Sav. He's turning his gun. He wants to. This one has to land. It's not going to. He's ducked around the corner. 12-10. Ooh, this one might. No, it doesn't land. It hits the building, so he backs up. Bit of reverse side scraping happening there in the KV-1S. He's on 5 kills. He'd love to make this a top gun. As his Russian gun aims, that's not going to do anything. He needs to poke a little bit more. The Sav, he knows what he's doing. That'll do it. There's his 6th kill. 13-10 the score now. 2,365 damage to Subzero in his KV-1S, and the Matilda picks up a kill. Getting rid of the toaster tank. The cruiser kills the IKV-72. 11-4. Just one enemy tank left on the team, and you'd think the Matilda Black Prince would have him covered. The Marder picks up the kill. Where was the Marder? Was that the thing up there? Looks like that Marder was the one that came down from his little climby spot. As we have a very quick look at the post-game battle results. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for Subzero. It is KV-1S, the Tier 5 Russian heavy tank, an ace tank, a hand of God, bruiser, jeweler's fire for effect, the high caliber medal, and of course the top gun for picking up those 6 kills on Windstorm. Looking at the second page, he well and truly carried it. There was a lot of passengers in that game. 2,365 hit points of damage, 6 kills, 1282 base experience. He fired 13 shots, 10 hit, 9 did damage, and that was enough for an ace tanker mastery badge. Nobody on the enemy side did more than 860 hit points of damage, and nobody on his side, apart from him, did more than 679. It cost him a few credits, probably a bit of premium ammunition, but well and truly worth it for that Ace Tanker Mastery Badge on Windstorm, featuring what used to be a very popular tank, the KV-1S. As we move on to our third and final Tier 5 battle in this threesome of Russian heavies. This one features MonashSG from BAMF Clan. He's one of the executive officers in BAMF Clan, and again, lucky enough to be in a Tier 5 game in this KV1. And it looks to me like he's gone for the different gun, the normal gun you might say, the non-derp gun. 160 average damage for 120 penetration with armor piercing rounds, 161 penetration with APCR, which is the premium rounds. Of course, he's got some high explosives loaded too for 280 damage, 43 penetration. Unusual little setup here, camouflage net and binoculars. Probably tells me that he hasn't got the correct equipment for it, and maybe he's got that one of those mods that automatically throws camo nets, binoculars and toolboxes on your tanks if you've got vacant spots. Now, MonashSG from BAMF Clan, he sent me a few replays recently featuring the Scorpion G, as well as some of the BAMF Tier 8 Clan Wars, I think. Maybe the occasional Tier 6 with his old mate, the YouTube Gamer, who he's sent me a few replays as well. Anyway, in this battle is on Swamp. He's on a mission to do 2,000 damage to enemy heavy tanks. That's not going to happen. I don't think the KV1 and the T1 have 2,000 hit points of damage to give. Was that a little artillery? Maybe the AMX 103? Or maybe even the Bishop. Didn't seem to do any damage. Or maybe just ran over something. 0-1 the score on, what's this one called? Swamp. As he goes into a very unusual spot for heavy tanks, but can't be that unusual because he's found the enemy KV1, and that's where he's got APCR loaded for, just to help with the penetration into the heavily armoured Tier 5 Russian heavy tanks. Puts a shot into his gun. I reckon that could have damaged his gun, that shot, but it doesn't matter because he's picked himself up his first kill. 2-3's a score, 340 damage, 300 assisted damage into that KV1, but his teammates are managing to die left, right and centre here on Cliff as MonashSG looks around like a man possessed, cops another shot from that artillery. He needs to get into a position where that arty can't just chip away. There's 3 artilleries on the enemy side, the Bishop and the AMX, both pretty quick firing, and they could just keep him in a bit of trouble for a long time. Just gone out of his view, because him turning his mouse around like a man possessed is absolutely killing me. And also, you can have a look, he's got 2 marks of excellence on this gun, so maybe running binoculars and a camo net on a heavy tank is a good thing. He's picked up 2 marks of excellence. I've got no tanks with 2 marks of excellence on it, I don't think. Takes a shot. He's getting shot from all sides here. He's blocked 350. That Sherman, that sounded like derp shells from the Sherman as he puts a shot towards the Tier 5 American medium tank. Puts another shot into him. Takes him down to 307 hit points. But Monash, as he picks up the kill on the Sherman, he's only on 11 health himself, so any tank on the enemy side can one-shot him. Apart from maybe that Panzer 1C. He'll be looking at that T1 heavy. He's going to want to get rid of him pretty quick. But still got APCR loaded. Only 2 shells left. Artillery swings and misses. And of course he's going to want to get rid of that. T1. He does it by auto aim. He picks up his 4th kill. He's gotten away with murder in this game, I'll tell you now. He spots the Bishop. That Bishop gets 1 shell into the Bishop. Probably didn't need APCR, but hasn't got time to reload. The Bishop fires and misses. Bishop cops a shot from friendly artillery, and MonashSG from BAMF Clan picks up his 5th kill, just 1 kill away from a top gun and nothing with any armour left on the enemy side, and that's so it doesn't really matter that he's out of APCR. Everything else, it will be very, very easy to penetrate. Just one tier 5 left on the enemy side, which is the grill, and of course 4 tier 5s on MonashSG's team. The KV1, the Chi-Nu, the PZ-34, and of course the grill. And there looks like the PZ-38 and the Chi-Nu having a good push down the eastern flank. The PZ-34 pretty happy just to kick back and snipe, but we don't know what he's on. He might be on really low health, just like MonashSG, who's really continuing to push forward. Has he got a shot on that light tank? I don't think he does. As he pushes towards the base, he'll be looking for those last 2 remaining artilleries, which, and there's one of them, there's the grill, probably the last tank that can really do too much damage to him. He'll be hoping his gun aims in time. It does. He shoots and kills the grill. That's his 6th kill. That's his top gun. 11-10 the score, though. This could still turn into a loss if his luck isn't with him. AMX 105 AM pinging for help in the north. That Panzer 1C, that's what he's worried about. So the PZ-34 doing the right thing, going back to help the artillery and try and pick off the little tier 3 light tank. The MonashSG, he's picked up 6 kills, 1548 damage, 350 damage blocked, and 659 assisted damage. He wants to get rid of that little French artillery piece. It's probably the last tank left who can penetrate him reliably or damage him with high explosive rounds. He's on 170 hit points, so it's probably going to take 2 shots. I'd be very tempted to use high explosives there. Looks like little Frenchie's fired, but so's Monash. He's missed it. It is pretty fast firing, this artillery, but 1 shot is enough in the end. A nice high roll with 170 hit points of damage into the tier 4 French artillery piece. That's 7 kills for MonashSG as he starts rolling towards a locust, and that locust will be feeling like a fish out of water as the Panzer 3-4 picks up the last kill of the game, and in the end he won 15-11 on Cliff. A very quick look at the post-game battle results again. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for MonashSG from Banff Clan, the Bruiser, Jewelers, 5 for effect, Pascucci's medal for picking up 2 artillery kills, the High Caliber, and of course the Top Gun for doing 6 kills. He actually got 7, but page 2. 17-18 hit points of damage, 7 kills, just under 1200 base experience. That PZ-34 didn't have a bad game with 1200 hit points of damage. Grill as well, doing over 1000, but not many others. All the rest sort of threw their tanks away reasonably early, as did the majority of the enemy team. None of them really stepping up, but finally there's a game where someone's made some money. 2,213 credits after tax with a premium account, and of course that's it. That's a threesome. The threesome featuring some tier 5 Russian heavy tanks, KV-1 and the KV-1S. Thanks for the replays, lads. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, and see you all next time.